just the 3 tips on property investment, sort of like why we invest, how we invest.
Okay, well, one of the things that's really important to keep in mind when investing in property is that to always remember that it is not an emotional decision. It needs to be treated as a business because ultimately it is generating income for you, and that's the sole intent. So it's not about what looks attractive or what's close to you and what's familiar. It's about looking at the true merits of that property, its location, its infrastructure, looking at its growth potential and a few other factors that really will lend itself to you getting a good source of income. So it's really important to treat it like a business decision. That's one of the key things that I would say, because a lot of people do get emotionally attached.
Yeah.
And we do have something called a property clock that does give you a feel for what's going on. So at the moment, for example, at the top of that clock, and what's really a great area to purchase in is the Sunshine Coast. So that's an area that's experiencing a lot of growth, and parts of Southeast Queensland are. So whether you like it, whether you don't, again, it's all about looking at where you're going to get the best return.
Right.
Tip number 2, I would say, do your research. Everyone has Google fingers, and that's terrific, but Google isn't always accurate, and often when it comes to making a purchase, if it's in the news, it's too late. Okay, it's done its dash, because the news are always a bit behind with that. So it's really important to source information from multiple areas. So by all means, have a look on the net, talk to some different companies and get some different viewpoints. I think it's really important when you're going through the process of investing. It's risky doing it on your own. And I do recommend going through, whether it's a buyer's agent, a property investment company like us, go to an expert. And one of the things I look for is I actually ask some key questions of the people that I'm seeking advice from.
Yeah.
So it's not just about what they have to say, it's how do they operate? How many years experience do they have? Do they invest in the properties they recommend themselves? Are they really looking out for your interests as an investor? I know for a fact through my own research that a number of different operators, they take kickbacks and incentives. So that has me nervous instantly, because I'm like, well, are you recommending something that's truly of merit, or something that you're going to get a different financial gain from as well? So, yeah, there are some key questions you should look at asking the people you're seeking advice from as well. So go and make sure you do your research online, in person, over the phone. It's very simple to just draw up a few key questions to ask different people to make an assessment on whether you believe you can work with them and trust what they have to offer as well. So that's tip number 2. And tip number 3, just quickly, if you know you've got a little bit of equity in your home, you'll be surprised to know that with as little as $50,000, $60,000 with expenses, you can invest in a new home and land package.
Wow.
And I know, and I don't know that many people are aware of that. And if you're nervous and you don't understand it, well, that's why you've got professionals who've been there, done it, and can advise you accordingly. Because one thing that always had me nervous was investing in a new property. I thought, oh my God, I never want to do that, because they just don't build property the way they used to, right? Yeah. Well, that's not necessarily the case. If you're working with reliable, good builders, I mean, we're working with builders who've built hotels like the Versace in Queensland. So they're publicly listed companies. So you know you're getting something of quality, and you'll definitely get some amazing tax breaks with a new property as well that you won't get with existing properties. So it's really worth looking and assessing where you're at with your equity in your own home, the equity that you may have saved through your hard yakka, and then making that money work for you. If your money is sitting dormant somewhere, make it work for you so you can get a nice return that you can actually build on, because it starts with one, and you build a bit of equity in that property, and then you can start focusing on your second investment, And, you know, it's all just about time. The people who start sooner just have more as a result, but it's never too late to get in and explore that opportunity.
Wonderful. The time is right, people. The time is right.
It really is. Even with the pandemic, the property market is not going away. There's always somewhere worth investing in Australia. So true.